Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Thursday, June 5th. Victoria's crushing blow, Kyle can't escape his fate. You lied to me, Kyle. You looked me in the eye and lied. Victoria Newman. A scandal too big to hide. A betrayal too deep to forgive. This Thursday on The Young and the Restless, Victoria Newman is left devastated, and Kyle Abbott? He's caught in a trap of his own making. There's no way out now. Chapter 1, The Calm Before the Collapse. The walls of Newman Enterprises felt colder than ever. Victoria Newman stood by the floor-to-ceiling window of her executive suite, overlooking the city that had brought her both power and pain. But nothing could prepare her for what was about to happen. Her assistant knocked gently. "You have a visitor, Ms. Newman." "I told you, I'm not seeing anyone this morning." "It's Kyle Abbott." "He said it's urgent." Her heart sank. Kyle showing up unannounced? That only meant one thing, trouble. Chapter 2, Kyle's desperate plea. "I can explain," Kyle said the moment he stepped into the room. Victoria's glare could have frozen fire. "You better, because I just got a call from someone inside Jabot's legal team. They're claiming you leaked proprietary data. Confidential Newman data." Kyle froze. I didn't mean to." "You didn't mean to?" Victoria snapped, her voice rising. "Kyle, you signed a non-compete. You were in my boardroom 2 weeks ago." He tried to breathe, to slow the pounding of his heart, but the look in her eyes made it clear, there was no redemption here. Chapter 3, The Secret Deal That Changed Everything. Unbeknownst to Victoria, this betrayal had deeper roots. Back in March, Kyle had been approached by a mysterious investor with ties to a rival conglomerate, Aurora Blackwood, a name that hasn't been uttered in Genoa City in years. Aurora offered Kyle something irresistible, full custody of his son, provided he deliver inside intel from Newman's acquisition targets. At the time, Kyle thought it was harmless, a few files, old reports. But Aurora had bigger plans. And now, so did the FBI. Chapter 4, Victoria's Shattered Trust. Victoria stood in front of the mirror in her office bathroom, mascara smudged from angry tears. She had trusted Kyle. Believed in him. Maybe even liked him, though she'd never admit it aloud. She wasn't just furious. She was humiliated. And in Genoa City? Humiliation was blood in the water. Chapter 5, Kyle's Last Chance. Kyle's only hope was Michael Baldwin. But even Michael's legal wizardry had limits. "You might be able to strike a deal," Michael said carefully, "but it means burning bridges. You'll have to testify against Aurora. And Jabot." Kyle paled. "I can't do that to my family." "Then you'd better get used to orange jumpsuits and conjugal visits." Chapter 6, A Secret Tape and a New Enemy. Meanwhile, across town, Phyllis Summers had gotten her hands on something explosive, a recording of Kyle's meeting with Aurora. She watched it again and again, fingers trembling. This changes everything," she whispered. What she didn't know was that someone else was watching her, someone in the shadows. Someone who wanted the tape, and would do anything to get it. Chapter 7, Victoria's Revenge. Victoria wasn't going to take this lying down. Her father may have taught her restraint, but this was personal. She made one call. "Is he in New York?" she asked the man on the other end. "Yes, Ms. Newman." "He's expecting you." "Good," she said coldly. "Tell him Victoria's ready to deal with Kyle, the way we used to handle things." Structure for full script, estimated breakdown toward 100,000 words. To reach the full novel-length script, here's a chapter breakdown plan, each section 2,000,30,000 words. The leak is exposed, Victoria discovers the betrayal. Kyle's spiral, Kyle fights to stay above water. Aurora's return, backstory and re-entry into Genoa society. The legal web, Michael and Christine's courtroom maneuvers. Jabot in flames, the Abbott family implodes. Victoria's fallout, Victoria faces boardroom revolt. Phyllis's discovery, the tape, the blackmail, and the twist. Summer's dilemma, torn between Kyle and loyalty. Nikki's warning, a visit from Nikki changes everything. The FBI moves in, undercover agents and surprise alliances. Victor returns, this is my empire. And no one takes it down. The showdown at Society, the confrontation we never saw coming. Arrests, affairs, and aftershocks, secrets spilled under oath. The final betrayal, Kyle makes a choice no one expects. Newman rises, Victoria's rise from the ashes. The cliffhanger, a gunshot. A body. And one whispered name. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, June 4th, reveals that Billy Abbott's postponement will upset Sally Spectra while Adam Newman suspects Aristotle Dumas' trap. At the Abbott mansion, Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott will be on the same page about changing their honeymoon itinerary to include Nice so they can attend Aristotle Dumas' party. At the GCAC, Claire Newman will admit to Kyle Abbott that she didn't get much sleep due to Cole Howard's illness. This relapse will baffle Claire and worry her since Cole is being so stubborn about seeing a doctor. Next on Wednesday's YNR episode, Kyle will hint to Jack and Diane about an offer he made to Victor, one that's personal and not about business. Although Diane and Jack will fear Kyle's making another deal with the devil, he'll push for trust and argue that he'll be totally in control if Victor accepts the offer. At Crimson Lights, Billy will push Adam's buttons over the negative press avalanche that still hasn't come. Adam will imply that Newman Media is just waiting on the perfect moment to strike. After Sally shows up and joins Billy on the patio, Chelsea Lawson will grill Adam about whether he's really going to keep his promise. Adam will assure Chelsea that nothing has changed and that he still plans to distract Victor Newman with a scandal instead of going after Billy. In fact, Adam will think one has just fallen into their laps since everyone's buzzing about Dumas' party in Nice. After Adam admits he wasn't invited, he'll feel snubbed over the news since the rest of his family members are going. However, Chelsea will give Adam a pep talk and act like Dumas must view him as a bigger threat. It'll be obvious that Chelsea is just trying to make Adam feel better about the situation, so he'll be grateful for the support. Adam will ultimately confess that it's probably best to avoid the bash since all signs point to it being a trap. As far as Adam's concerned, something won't be right about this whole Dumas situation. Back with Billy, he'll give Sally party updates and admit he plans to go. Sally will object since Friday the 13th is just a few days after the Abbott Communications launch. Billy will eventually decide they should push back the launch date by a month, so that'll bring more objections from Sally. It'll seem like Billy is obsessing over Dumas' attempt to go after Chancellor and knock Victor off his pedestal. Billy will think it's wise to know Dumas' full agenda and will suggest they'll be better prepared for the launch when the time comes. Plus, Billy will think it'll give him an opportunity to take Sally to Nice, so she'll accept a kiss despite her reservations. At Society, Nick Newman will talk to Phyllis Summers about Summer Newman still being in Milan since she has to finalize things. There'll be some talk about the Italian designer hump that Summers interested in as well. Nick will hint about taking another trip to Europe, so that'll lead to his admission about Dumas' party invitations.